today, guys, we are going to be, speaking about knowing your legal rights as a South African. Do you know your rights right there? Please comment down below. If you know your rights, please comment yes. If you don't, comment no, so that I can take you some of the rights that, a lot of people are dealing with and they can't handle, right? So today with me, I've got something that I want to share with the people at home, because it's something that a lot of people are struggling with, especially when, in this world of social media. A lot of people are getting bullied. A lot of people, there's bad things that being said about them and they don't know who to go to. So today we're going to be speaking about defamation of character in South Africa.
Okay.
I know you guys want to sue people for defamation of character. Don't worry, you have me, because there are a lot of people that are in line I want to sue for defamation of character. But now, what should I do? What should I do? So right now in my screen, I want to, share with you what does defamation of character in South Africa means and how does it look like. So it goes like this. The South African legal system defines defamation as the act of publishing any statement about another individual that injures the reputation of that person in the eyes of the community. This definition underscores the gravity of defamation, highlighting it as not merely a personal affront but an action with potential social ramifications. The balance between upholding the freedom of speech and protecting individuals against defamation is a nuanced aspect of South African law, requiring careful navigation through both constitutional and common law precedents. That's what it says, and I hope wherever you are at home, you can read this. But now let me, try to zoom it in for you so that you can get a better view of what I'm reading, because I know you can sue me for defamation for reading wrong things. But I just want to ask this question, it also applies with, one who is watching at home. Have you guys came across someone who's suing someone for defamation, or someone not acting for defamation? Do you know anyone who's being bullied and who's being, things are being said about them on social media or ekasi, but they don't know that thing it is as defamation of character? Have you guys, came across that, or you haven't, Nje?
From my personal experience, I can tell you that I learned about defamation of character in primary.
You learned about it in primary?
And primary, you know what?
Okay.
And primary was like a bit sneaky, right? So I learned how to use it in my side that actually worked more for me, right? Because I'd have somebody say, no, ma'am, we saw Afriberry doing this and this and this. Because I used to watch like a whole lot of lawyer movies and a whole lot of cop shows growing up. Yeah, I was one of those kids that like addicted to cop shows. So I got falsely accused for stealing an eraser. And by then, that's when we were starting to have those smartphones that actually flipped, like your E250, Motorola and stuff. And I asked the person, do you have evidence that I stole? He's like, yeah, I saw you. I'm like, but no, do you have any do you have evidence? And then they denied it. I was like, that's defamation of character. I can sue you because you don't even have any solid evidence. But then I also learned that it can also be used to also protect your rights, especially if somebody is spreading false news about you.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we live in a place where I can say one thing, even if when I mean it in a good way. But unfortunately, the way the person tells it to another person may put me in bad light. And you find that some people end up being sued for defamation of character for something that they actually did not even put out in that particular way.
Yeah.
So in a way, it is a good thing to know your right when it comes to people defaming your character and putting you in a bad light without them even having proper evidence. But when it comes to you also taking action, it also means that you need to take due diligence to how everything was done including how you get your evidence. Otherwise, you might just end up suing the wrong person.
Yeah, definitely. Because most of the time you see people, running around saying, I don't have a lot of evidence against this person, and which is something that counts as, resourceful when you present it in the court and having the jury standing right in front of you, making judgment for you. So it is something that people need to be careful of, because also the Constitution speaks of you when you see someone, acting in a manner of defamating someone else. You can be that person who is impeding, something bad that's going to happen. Because remember, when defamation happens, a lot of people can, get into, a lot of damage can happen into people's lives. Your career as a whole, it can be damaged, and it can end just by someone saying something that is bad.
Yeah, so on that as well, did you know that there are two types of defamation? One is called libel and one is called slander. Libel refers to the written or published defamation, whereas slander refers to the spoken or verbal defamation. So a person who's charged with defamation can either be charged with a criminal defamation charge or a civil defamation charge. And if found guilty under the law of civil defamation, they will be subjected to only a sentence of a fine. However, if they are found with a criminal defamation, they will likely face a prison sentence, which may be suspended, and can also just face a fine. So, one thing that I always say is that I feel like because we live in the age of social media, it has given people the thought and license to just say and do whatever they feel like they need to do and say to people. But that is not true, because you are going to be held accountable for your words and actions.
Yeah, definitely. Because touching on the social media one, I think a lot of people, we need to understand, and that is why we are here, to educate you and to show you what does the legal, institution of South Africa say about all of those things. So when it comes to digital and media defamation, I'm going to share something with you on the screen as you're going to be reading, towards right here, and understand what does it mean and how can you act, based on what has happened in social media. So it goes like this. It's called the digital media and defamation. The advent of digital media has significantly altered the landscape of defamation law. Platforms such as social media allow for the rapid dissemination of information, which can lead to widespread reputational damage in a matter of hours. Recent defamation cases in South Africa have highlighted the challenges posed by digital media, including issues related to anonymity, jurisdiction, and permanent nature of online content. So we know that we have seen a lot of things happening to people, when a certain thing is said about you on social media. And then now what happens is, when it comes to social media, it's a proven fact that lies spread 100 times more than the truth.
That's true.
So it's things like that people need to be aware of. That when you're about to say something bad and which is not true about someone on the internet, it can quickly catch fire and spread worldwide. And now people believe that you are that person. So it's something that when we look into what has happened, and I want us to go back to this case, Yaga Toles Mo, on what happened, because now when we had those allegations about Toles Mo, everything he has worked for just crumbled down.
That's true.
So we're looking at the dangers of that. If you're someone who's about to press and type something about someone which is not true, those are going to be the repercussions that you face. So you must be careful of the things that you say. But now with Toles Mo, man, it's something that sparked controversy in South Africa, because when he released the media statement, South Africa was divided. It was men against women. But now we know that the people who were there, they know what they saw. And now we have to hear two sides of the stories. We can't listen to one side. And now when he comes back, obviously he will come back angry and bashing out in anger in what has happened. So what's your take on, a situation got Toles Mo, no Lerato Molo? Do you guys follow that story? No rape allegation that Toles Mo raped, Lerato Molo and things like that. But let me take you back on the media statement release right here that I have with me. That was issued by Toles Mo the gamer. I don't know if it is visible for people right there at home. If I can just zoom it in. Yes, right here. I'm just gonna, because it's a long statement, I'm just gonna read the paragraph. In Friday, official statement from Umongezi, Toles Mo Mahlangu. Friday, 19 August 2022, Johannesburg. We had a statement from immediate release. Sorry. On 16 August, Mr. Mongezi Toles Mo Mahlangu, was vindicated and accordingly acquitted of all charges leveled against me by South African Court of Law. I have maintained my innocence despite the false and malicious claims of an alleged rape made by Ms. Lerato Moloi, which has caused immense damage to me, my family, my children, my professional reputation, and subsequent loss of livelihood, negatively affected my overall mental health and emotional well-being. You see, like, things that are happening out there. You say something about someone, the next thing it goes into social media and their lives are ruined.
And there has been people who've actually taken their lives due to things written about them publicly that are untrue. And obviously, because of emotional and psychological distress, they go into a panic. Because, man, one thing that because we live in such a digital age and everyone wants to have an opinion and everyone wants to speak out about everything, is that we don't know how to take accountability for our words, and we often fail to understand that our words have huge impact on the people that we speak on and the subjects that we speak on, and so much it can either build or break down so much for some person. And so that's why I say, when we had that episode where we spoke about misinformation, do your research, and if you do not have the full story, rather keep your opinion to yourself until you have all the facts, rather than putting out uneducated, unfounded rumors, because sometimes it's a rumor that people will put out as the truth. And that's why there's a thin line between your truth and my truth and the almighty truth. Yeah.
In a way, it kind of goes back to some of the other major artists who've also been falsely accused of rape. Like you had DJ Fresh and Euphonic.
Yeah,
they unfortunately also got their name tarnished because that rape case ended up in like nowhere. And it also goes back to the South African justice system itself, because me as an ordinary person, when I go and report a rape case, it is not treated as an urgent matter or something. It's not treated as a matter of urgency or that my perpetrator needs to be found out. But for a person who is high profile, even without evidence, it is immediately moved up to the ranks. Me as a person as evidence, you can take me. I went to the clinic, I got a rape kit. I went to the hospital, I get a rape kit. They have like the DNA of this person. It's going to take forever to even have that person arrested. Yet somebody who's high profile and a female goes in and claims that they were raped by him, the case is like literally taken seriously. So that goes to show you that sometimes it's not even about social media itself. It also goes back on how the truth or how cases are also handled in South Africa. And in a way, there should also be repercussions for people who go in and actually tarnish somebody's reputation. It is about time that people who tarnish people's reputations without any evidence or just some false accusation actually pay for what they do. A slap on the wrist or fine is not going to restore the reputation that you ruined. I need to go back and build it up, even if it has been proven that, you know what you said I did was actually false and everything was just based on a lie. It takes a lifetime for me to build that up. Look at Tall Esmo right now. He is still building up his reputation. And where is Lerato? Living freely.
So
Indeed.
there are two tests applied in ascertaining whether defamation was proved or not. So gahle, these tests are: was your statement true? If not, and it damaged their character and reputation, you will be found guilty of defamation and may go to prison or have to pay out a large amount of money. Please note that it is your responsibility to prove that the statement you made was true. So it will not be a defense to say that you heard the statement from someone else.
Yeah.
So before you repeat any statement, do make sure that the statement is verified, or else be prepared to face the consequences. What I just said, do your research. Make sure that you got your facts straight. Otherwise, you may land into trouble. And also, was your statement necessary and for the public benefit?
Yeah.
Another thing, it's not always enough to rely on the truth of the statement as a defense.
Yeah.
A second test which is applied is whether the public had a right to know about what was said. If the person involved, for instance, is a public figure and they hold themselves out to have a certain character, then it would be in the public's interest to know the truth about who they really are.
Yeah.
So of course in matters like that you can publicly tell. But if not, then why? It's a matter of.
Yeah, definitely. Let me head on to the socials and see what the people are saying. So, Itumele Ndiale, I do see your comment, and it's something that we're going to be discussing when it comes to the trending videos. So I'm going to come back to your comment and read it when we are going through the social media trending videos. And then I have Refilo Rasekhanzo, giving that hashtag Vooka breakfast show with the fire emojis. And Refilo Rasekhanzo comes back and say hashtag I know my rights. Definitely, guys, you should know your rights. Please go to your Google whenever you have some time, data, take your time and go through your constitutional rights, because a lot of rights are being violated with us not noticing what is happening in the background. So it is important for an individual to know their rights and know where they stand. I know we're practicing a lot of customer rights komakuleng, but it's something that we should go deep into, and look into what is the constitution saying. And then I have Uzinzi Elizabeth saying hashtag Vooka breakfast show. It's important indeed to be mindful what people say, cause really it can build or destroy lives, hence having your facts straight and reputable information. Thank you so much, Zinzi, for that comment. It's something that people should be mindful of whenever you say something in social media, because we know that we have people who call themselves comedians. If you are not a comedian, don't say something bad about people. Just say that you are a comedian, and say things about, what you are going through and, everything that, is happening in your life. But now, saying bad things about other kids, because you have seen it on, platforms like your Facebook, your Twitter, things, your false, image about yourself being retweeted, being reposted and being it's being shared amongst people. And now we know that we have seen a lot of suicidal cases because of these things. So people, please stand up, know your rights. So right now, in conclusion, I just want to take you through, in terms of how the damages are calculated. I'm going to share my screen with you together with the conclusion. So they say how damages are calculated. Damages are calculated on the basis of the harm done to your reputation. You do not have to prove any actual loss, nor is there any type of scale for such damages. The assessment will depend largely on the views of the judge, who is guided by previous awards in similar cases, and other factors such as malice and the nature and extent of the publication, the presence or absence of adequate apology, and the rank and social status of the party whose reputation was allegedly damaged. In conclusion, the law of defamation is one of more complex and uncertain branches of our law, especially because a court have to balance the conflicting constitutional rights, namely of the dignity and privacy on the other hand, and the freedom of expression on the other. But at the same time, the right to freedom of expression can also be limited and may not encroach on any other's personal rights. In this case, the right to untainted reputation, you will need a professional legal assistance to prove a defamation of character case to claim the suitable damages.
Yeah, like Bono, that's all. You don't want to be a nota, guys, and then you find yourself in prison.
Mara, sometimes the truth is true. There's no defamation. We just need to tell you straight.
But like you see that
We're not
second
defaming
test
anything.
that they do, Uguti, was it something that the public needed to know? Is it something that the public... It's a public service announcement. Is it a public service announcement? Like, is it going to benefit anyone, you telling people about this? Is it going to be of or in their best interest to know your little opinion about this person or your thoughts on this person? So you don't want to, like I say, because in November last year, I think, or was it December? I'm not sure. But Uno Tabaloi was sentenced to 60 days in prison for contempt of court on the defamation case involving him and KO. So KO's legal team did the most there.
Yeah.
You know, they actually got someone to actually go and pay for what they did. So yeah,
Out of curiosity,
yeah.
do you think Nota will stop, bruh? Like, this guy has been fighting with celebrities for such a long time, and so many of them fought him. Like, okay, the fact that he got sentenced for 60 days, it's a milestone compared to all the other troubles it's caused for like the other celebrities and stuff. But in all honesty, I don't think this guy's gonna stop.
He's not gonna stop. Why am I saying that? Guys, the reason I'm emphasizing that you should know your rights is because now the line is blurred between, you know, knowing your rights and knowing how to practice your rights in public. Because right now we are faced with a situation like, oh, my body works for me, you know. So when my body works for me come in social media and say things about her, and now people are going to take those things, you know, that she or he said about themselves. And then when I come and say, no, this is so and so, they acted like this, those people are not in a position of, you know, suing me for defamation of character. So a lot of people now are getting lost into watching these, you know, high profile celebrities, you know, bringing themselves into social media platforms and saying this. Like, we've seen trending things about them, you know, this one is dating this one. The pictures of people are trending who are naked, which were shared. Because now when the court looks at the whole situation, they're like, okay, but you granted the person, you know, permission to say, no, it's fine, you can send it to me in exchange for so and so. But now when someone is a victim of that, they're going to get lost in those blurred lines. It's like, should I sue for defamation of character because now I saw what happened to Faith in Katie, and then, you know, I feel like it's normal. So rather than doing that, let me just take my life. But there is more than that, you know, you can practice, because now the digital age has become something that is challenging for our constitution, but it's something that the attorneys are still looking into. And the more we come up with the information, we are going to share it with you right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. It's hashtag Know Your Rights. We're going to come each and every week and tell you one of the rights that you need to practice that are found in the constitution, because you know some of you are not practicing your rights. Do you guys practice your rights?
I do when it's necessary. I do.
Mena, the only right I've had is you have the right to remain silent. anything you say you'll be used
Why is it
against
because
you.
you're a black South African male and all you know is like
No,
Maphodisa?
it's not even
It's-
it's not even it's not even about that. You know, some people literally deserve to have what they say used against them in general. So we also read them that before you even say anything, remember that you have the right to remain silent, right?
The Miranda rights.
So anything you say or do will definitely be used against you.
I mean, expression and silent, they don't go hand in hand. Vid. You can't say I must practice freedom of expression. I'm expressing myself,
And then
you know,
I need to remain
then
silent.
you're telling me to be silent. You know, somewhere, somehow, it's something that we need to understand, guys, because there's a huge distinction between the two. You know, we're not trying to mislead you when they say be silent, Nkosiam, because you'll be facing major time. I know, ask me. But it's a story for another day, man. So that was hashtag Know Your Rights right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. Let us know what you think on the comment section by using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Do make sure that you share the live with your loved ones, your friends, your cousins, your partners, you know, so that we can get, you know, some little bit of knowledge on what is happening in South Africa. We are here for you. City Vugani Ma Africa, right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. My name is Muketi Maimani, aka Max for maximum temperature, and I'm with the beautiful ladies right here in studio, which is TC Wakwamazibuko and U Afri Berry.